The sun was dipping low over the small highway town, painting the sky in streaks of orange and crimson. The air smelled of gasoline and asphalt as a rumble of motorcycles echoed through the distance. The riders pulled into a worn-down gas station at the edge of town, big men on bigger bikes, dust on their boots, leather jackets creased by the road. They were the kind of men people often crossed the street to avoid, tattooed, tough, and silent. But among them was one man who never forgot why he rode. His name was Jake. Jake wasn't the kind of biker who liked trouble. He rode because the road gave him peace, a place to escape the ghosts of his past. A past full of broken promises, sleepless nights, and the one word that had haunted him for years: regret. His brothers joked that he rode to outrun his thoughts. Maybe they were right. That evening, as the group stopped to refuel, the quiet hum of the gas pumps filled the air. The others laughed and talked, but Jake stayed by his bike, leaning against the handlebar, watching the sunset fade. That's when he saw her. She was standing by an old, dented car that looked like it had survived one too many miles. A young woman, maybe in her early 30s, with a face that carried both beauty and exhaustion. Her hair was messy, tied up in a rushed bun, and a small boy sat in the back seat of the car, drawing on a torn piece of cardboard. The car's hood was open, steam rising, and she looked at it with the helpless eyes of someone who'd already cried too much. Jake noticed the way she glanced around, nervous, cautious, like someone running from something. She rummaged through her purse, checking her phone, looking back at her son. Her movements told a story without words, desperation mixed with determination. Jake's instincts told him something wasn't right. He'd seen that look before, the look of someone fighting battles nobody could see. He walked toward her slowly, his boots crunching on the gravel. She froze for a moment when she saw him, a big man with tattoos, leather, and a bandana covering his hair. Fear flickered in her eyes. "You all right, ma'am?" he asked, voice deep but gentle. She hesitated. I'm fine. Just car trouble." Jake looked under the hood. It didn't take long to see the radiator hose had split clean open. "You're not getting far with that," he muttered. Her shoulders sagged. "Yeah," she whispered, "I kind of figured." Jake called over one of his buddies, a wiry old biker named Tank, who knew his way around engines. "Tank, grab some duct tape and water," Jake said. Within minutes, they had patched it enough for her to reach the next town safely. As they worked, the little boy climbed out of the car, curiosity lighting his small face. "Whoa," he said, staring at the bikes. "Are you guys superheroes or something?" The men laughed. "Something like that, kid," Tank replied. The woman smiled faintly. For the first time that evening, Jake saw a spark of warmth in her tired eyes. When the job was done, Jake handed her the keys. "You should be good for a while. Get that hose replaced soon." She nodded, swallowing hard. Thank you so much. I don't really have." Jake waved a hand. "Don't worry about it. Just take care of yourself and your boy." She paused, her lips trembling like she wanted to say more but couldn't. Then she dug into her purse and pulled out a small folded napkin. Could you just take this?" she whispered. Jake frowned. "Ma'am, you don't owe me anything." "It's not money," she said softly. "Just, please read it later." She slipped the note into his gloved hand and quickly turned back toward her car. Her son waved goodbye with a big grin, and within moments, the old car rolled away into the evening dust. Jake stood there, the napkin in his hand, confused. Something about the woman's voice, the way she trembled, stayed with him. He unfolded the napkin slowly. The handwriting was shaky, blotched with tears. It read, "Greater than, my name is Sarah. I'm sorry if this is strange. I didn't know who else to ask. My ex-husband took everything from me, our house, our savings, and he's been looking for us. My son and I have been living in the car for 3 weeks. You looked like someone who might understand. Please don't tell anyone, but if you know anyone who could help us find a safe place, please call this number. I'm scared. He's close." Jake's heart sank. He read the words twice, then a third time. The others noticed his silence. "Everything okay, brother?" Tank asked. Jake looked up, jaw tight. "No, not really." He pulled out his phone and dialed the number on the note. It rang once, twice, then a small voice answered. "Hello, Sarah," Jake said. There was silence. Then she whispered, "Who is this?" "The biker from the gas station." A deep breath. Then, trembling, "Oh. You read it." "Yeah. Where are you right now?" "I'm parked behind an old diner outside town. I didn't know who else to trust." "Stay there," Jake said firmly. "Don't move. I'm coming." When he hung up, his brothers were already watching him. "What's going on?" Tank asked. Jake looked around at them. Men who had seen wars, lost families, done time, and still stood by each other like blood. "She's in trouble," Jake said quietly. "She and her kid. We're going to help." There was no debate. No one asked why. They just nodded. The Brotherhood moved as one. 10 minutes later, the roar of engines filled the night as they pulled up behind the small diner. The car was there, parked beneath a flickering light. Sarah was inside, holding her boy, her eyes wide when she saw them. Jake stepped off his bike, hands raised. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now." She looked around nervously. He said he was coming tonight. I didn't know what to do." Jake's jaw clenched. "He won't touch you again." The boy peeked out the window. "Mom, they came back." Sarah opened the door, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I don't even know your name." "Jake," he said softly. "And you don't need to know more than that right now. We take care of our own." Tank pulled up beside him, scanning the empty highway. "You think he'll show?" Jake nodded slowly. Men like that always do. They waited in silence for nearly 20 minutes before headlights appeared down the road. A dark pickup truck rolled in, tires grinding on the gravel. The man behind the wheel climbed out, tall, angry, and already shouting. "Sarah, I told you, you can't hide from me." The boy whimpered. Sarah pulled him close, shaking. Jake stepped forward, blocking the man's path. "That's far enough." The man sneered. "Who the hell are you?" Jake's voice was calm but cold. "The guy standing between you and the people you hurt." The man laughed, glancing at the row of motorcycles lined up behind Jake. "What? This some kind of biker movie? You think you scare me?" Tank revved his engine once, a deep, thunderous growl that shook the ground. The man's smirk faltered. Jake took a step closer. "You've done enough damage. You're not taking her anywhere." The man clenched his fists. "She's my wife. She's not your property," Jake snapped. "And you're done threatening her." For a long, tense moment, the air felt electric. The man looked at the bikers, 5 of them, standing shoulder to shoulder. He muttered something under his breath, spat on the ground, and stormed back to his truck. Gravel sprayed as he peeled away into the darkness. Sarah collapsed to her knees, shaking. "I can't believe he's gone." Jake knelt beside her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "He's not coming back. You're safe now." She sobbed into her hands. "I didn't know what to do. No one ever helped before. Everyone just looked away." Jake looked toward his brothers, who stood silently watching. "Not everyone looks away," he said softly. That night, the bikers escorted Sarah and her son to a safe house run by a local shelter they often supported. Jake spoke with the manager, arranged donations, and made sure they had food, clothes, and a warm place to sleep. When Sarah tried to thank him, he simply said, "Just promise me one thing. When you get back on your feet, help someone else." "That's all the thanks I need." Days turned into weeks. Sarah began volunteering at the shelter, helping other women who had gone through what she had. Jake would stop by sometimes, usually dropping off supplies or checking in on the boy, who had grown attached to him. "Hey, big guy," Jake would say, handing him a toy motorcycle. "You taking care of your mom?" The boy nodded proudly. "Mom says you're a hero." Jake smiled faintly. "Nah, I'm just a guy who got lucky enough to be there when someone needed me." One evening, as Jake was leaving, Sarah handed him a small envelope. "I know you don't want thanks," she said softly, "but I need you to have this." Inside was a photo, her and her son, smiling in front of a small apartment. On the back, she'd written, "Greater than, you didn't just fix a car. You fixed our lives." Jake stared at the photo for a long moment before slipping it into his jacket pocket. He rode home that night under a sky full of stars, the wind cool against his face. He thought about how strange life could be, how one moment, you stop for gas, and the next, you're saving someone's world. He thought about all the times people had judged him for the way he looked, the leather, the tattoos, the rough voice. But that night, he knew what mattered. It wasn't how people saw you. It was what you did when someone needed help. Weeks later, Jake got a call from Sarah. "Hey," she said, voice brighter than he'd ever heard it. "I just wanted you to know, I got a job. My son's in school now. We're okay." Jake smiled. "That's all I wanted to hear." She paused. "I still think about that night. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't stopped." Jake looked out over the horizon. "Sometimes, Sarah, the road puts you right where you need to be." After they hung up, Jake gathered his brothers at their clubhouse. He told them Sarah's story. "We've always been about loyalty," he said. "About brotherhood. But there's more to it. There are people out there, moms, kids, families, who don't have anyone to stand up for them. We can change that." From that day forward, the club started something new, a small movement they called the Road Guardians. They began organizing charity rides, helping shelters, fixing cars, delivering food, even protecting families in danger. It spread faster than Jake expected. Soon bikers from other towns joined in. What started as one act of kindness at a gas station turned into a nationwide network of compassion on two wheels. Months passed. Jake kept the napkin, that first trembling note, in his jacket pocket as a reminder of why they did what they did. Every time he rode, he thought of Sarah and her son. He thought of the courage it took for her to trust a stranger. And sometimes, when the road got quiet and the wind was the only sound, he'd imagine the look on that little boy's face, wide-eyed, hopeful, believing that bikers could be heroes. Because maybe, just maybe, they were. Jake never saw Sarah again in person. But one day, a letter arrived at the clubhouse. Inside was a child's drawing, a stick figure biker with a big smile, standing beside a small car. Above it, in crooked handwriting, were 4 simple words.